Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. I'm Todd Ahrens. I'm a vice president with Arts Consulting Group, and I'm excited to be here today. I'm going to be joined by my colleague, Louisa Adriansen-Geyer, and together we will be in conversation with Lee Brower, who is the Chief Philanthropy Officer at the San Francisco Symphony. Welcome, Louisa and Lee. Arts Insight Live is a ACG bi-weekly LinkedIn Live series featuring candid conversations on the trends, data, process, and different ideas shaping the arts and culture field today. If you're joining us live, we'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments where you're tuning in from, and feel free to ask questions or share your thoughts throughout the session. It's exciting to have Lee joining us today. She, as I said, is the Chief Philanthropy Officer at the Symphony in San Francisco, where she oversees a team responsible for raising more than $35 million annually to support their artistic programs, education programs, as well as community engagement. She has 20 years of experience in arts and culture nonprofits. Her expertise includes strategic fundraising, campaign management, donor cultivation, and organizational leadership. Prior to joining the Symphony, she held senior roles at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art and the Whitney Museum of American Art, leading multi-million-dollar campaigns and membership programs. She holds a bachelor's degree from UC Berkeley and is passionate about strengthening community connections through the arts. Today, we're going to be talking and exploring an exciting development opportunity at the Symphony. Together, we will discuss the role of the Deputy Director of Development and the legacy of the San Francisco Symphony. We will also highlight how Arts Consulting Group partners with the Symphony and others to guide a thoughtful, rigorous, and collaborative search process, ensuring alignment between the organization's goals, community expectations, and the skills necessary for its next chapter. And with that, I'm going to ask Lee if she can tell us a little bit about the San Francisco Symphony and how it defines its mission today, especially in a diverse and innovative city like San Francisco.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Todd and ACG team. Thanks for having me today, and for everybody joining. Really appreciate you joining us this morning. So the San Francisco Symphony is known for being among the most adventurous and innovative arts institutions in the country. And it's long been celebrated for its artistic accomplishments, innovative performance concepts, award-winning recordings, of which there are many, and really standard-setting education and community engagement programs. The organization was founded in 1911. And was a really critical part of the city's rebuilding after the 1906 earthquake, and a real center point for a focus on prioritizing arts and culture in the city's revitalization after that time. The organization has had the immense pleasure of being led by artistic luminaries from Pierre Monteau to Seiji Ozawa, Herbert Blumstead, Michael Tilson Thomas, and most recently, Asa-Pekka Salonen. The organization's mission directly is to inspire and serve audiences and communities throughout the Bay Area and beyond of musical performance. The San Francisco Bay Area is an incredibly diverse and expansive community, and we really want to make sure that everybody here has opportunities to engage with and attend our concerts, but more so, we're really eager to ensure that everybody has the opportunity to see themselves in our programming, to be excited by our programming that appeals to their tastes and musical preferences, and to be inspired truly by the breadth of what the Symphony produces annually. In our current post-COVID world, the Symphony continues to emerge through another challenging time in our history, and we're working really hard to constantly prioritize the shifting creativity and beauty and power of art and music in our community and for our community, to look forward and ensure that the organization remains a vital part of our community and a center point of the arts in the Bay Area for generations to come.
Thank you, Lee. Really appreciate that. What would you say is the Symphony at its core, and what are its core programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Symphony really focuses on three areas in our work: artistic excellence, education for the full community, and community engagement. So on the artistic front, briefly, the Symphony, as I mentioned earlier, is long known for nearly year-round innovative programming, forward-thinking artistic leadership, and world-class musicians. Right now, we are currently in the search for a new music director of the organization, which is a really exciting time as we start to ideate and think really expansively about the opportunities for us artistically for our future. On the education front, the Symphony is deeply, deeply engaged, especially with the San Francisco Unified School District, where we provide comprehensive music education to every single student citywide in grades 1 through 5, plus support following that time in each of the city's middle and high school bands and orchestral programs. Additionally, we have programs year-round for children of all ages on stage, and additionally are home to one of the highest regarded youth orchestras in the country, which we are incredibly proud to have as fully tuition free. On the community front, as I mentioned earlier, again, we're dedicated to ensuring that everybody in the community who wants to experience the Symphony has that opportunity. And we're heavily focused on accessibility and removing barriers to entry across the full spectrum. So whether that's in our programming choices, ticket pricing, free ticket opportunities, significant performances outside of our hall throughout neighborhoods and community centers and libraries. We really think of ourselves as an organization both for and of the community. It's really critical to all of us that we remain relevant and important to everybody in the broader Bay Area. In each of these areas, I think it's also incredibly important to call out the connection to the energy and focus of the broader Bay Area. This community is really marked by innovation and forward-looking creativity, and we really look to bring that into the Symphony every day. It's an important part of the city's DNA. It's an important part of our DNA, and something that we have great connection to and pride in.
Super. Thank you so much. You were talking about education and that. Can you speak maybe in more detail about the Symphony's work with the San Francisco public school system?
Yes, absolutely. So as I'm sure everybody on this call knows, arts education in this country has been shrinking significantly for years and is less and less prevalent in schools around the country. And the Symphony is very proud to play a very large role in music education in San Francisco. So our core education programs for youth in San Francisco Unified School District is the Fisher Family Adventures in Music program in lower school, and then in middle school and high school, our Music and Mentors program. So I'll start with Adventures in Music. So established in 1988, the Fisher Family Adventures in Music program brings music and music education to every single child in public school in San Francisco in 1st through 5th grade. So that's serving over 20,000 children annually. So over these 4 years of elementary school, the Symphony provides specially designed and regularly updated curriculum, which includes workbooks and in-classroom materials, in-school concerts by professional ensembles, and also throughout the year, private concerts by the Symphony at Davie Symphony Hall for all of these students. It's really remarkable to bring in that many youth throughout the city and to inspire them at such a young age with what we do and what we offer to the community. And then following that, our Music and Mentors program continues that effort with San Francisco Unified School District middle and high schools, focusing here on grades 6 through 12. And in this, we offer support for school instrumental programs, primarily bands and orchestras. But in addition to this program, we also include weekly coaching, mentoring, and instructional support opportunities for student musicians as requested. And then additionally with this program, the Symphony provides supplies, instrument repairs, and opportunities throughout the year for students and their families to attend our open rehearsals and concerts, all free of charge to them. So we're incredibly proud that these programs combined follow our city's youth through 11 years of the most formative years of their educational journeys. And we really hope to be building a connection to music in their hometown orchestra. And I'll also share here that many members of our orchestra were also members of the Adventures in Music program growing up. We have members of our youth orchestra who now play in the main band. So it's really wonderful to see how these programs have clearly influenced and motivated people to continue careers and a lifetime commitment to the arts and music.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Very impressive work that you're doing in the community and in education and paying it forward, it sounds like, as musicians move from youth orchestra to real orchestra, or not real orchestra, but the big orchestra.
Yeah, the big band is something we take pride of.
Absolutely. Well, wonderful. I'm going to ask and turn to my colleague Louisa to share a little bit about ACG and how the ACG and the symphony collaborated on shaping the search process. And I'll let Louisa speak to that.
Thank you, Todd. We have a unique methodology that is personalized and collaborative. At the start of the search process, we met with the San Francisco Symphony to determine the skills, experience, and characteristics needed to excel in the role. With that information, we collaboratively wrote a position announcement that fully represented the requirements of the role. We then launched the search and kept the symphony updated on the weekly progress of our search. Lee, can you tell us about your hiring timeline and what prospective candidates can expect during the interview process when they move on to semifinal and final interviews?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are very actively recruiting for this role. It's a senior role on the development team, but also really important to note that this is a very senior role across the overall organization, liaising heavily interdepartmentally with members of other teams and verticals throughout the organization, as well as with our musicians. So we've very thoughtfully considered the interview process to reflect that. I'm very grateful to ACG and Todd and Louisa for all of their support there, and have worked to create opportunities for candidates to meet with direct colleagues of this role, as well as direct reports, and additionally with an extended range of cross-departmental leaders across the organization, including those overseeing the orchestra, and then in final rounds, the opportunity to meet both with board members as well as the organization's CEO. So this is a role that we want to ensure has the ability to connect with people truly across every level and department here, and we take that very seriously in this process.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about the Deputy Director of Development position?
Yeah, absolutely. So the job description is online for those who haven't had a chance to read it yet. But as I mentioned, this is a really critical role for our team. It's the second in command for the organization's quite significant fundraising program, working very closely with me and my team, setting broad strategy, driving growth in our organizational philanthropy, and also focusing very heavily on frontline fundraising, which in this role we're counting as inclusive of individual foundation and government support. So the role oversees a team of 9, including 4 senior giving officers, again, in those areas of individual foundation and government giving. And then this person will additionally work regularly with board members and senior leadership in their work. Really important to note that this position is also a frontline fundraiser, managing their own high net worth portfolio of about 45 to 50 major and planned giving donors and prospects. So, taking that all together, it's a really critical role for us, focused on strategy, really excellent relationship management skills and strong leadership abilities, given the significant team it oversees.
What were the main qualities or skills that you knew were essential to the Deputy Director of Development role?
So given how multifaceted the role is, we were really looking for someone who has a depth of leadership experience and strong frontline fundraising skills. And so for both, we're seeking proven ability to manage and expand relationships with donors, working with donors truly at all levels of giving, and then also somebody very confident and experienced working with senior leadership and a board. So we really see this role as requiring somebody with strong organizational skills who can manage confidently and calmly many moving parts in really quite a large and complex organization. One of the most important things for me in this role is strong team leadership. We have an excellent and deeply talented and dedicated team of gift officers. And I really want to ensure that a leader for this group can support my colleagues well, clear objectives and goals, above all a collaborative partnership, and a really positive, engaging, and motivating work environment for them. And then lastly, we're very hopeful that a candidate and anybody applying here would really have a genuine connection to the arts and a strong belief in the symphony's mission and importance in our community. It's a really important part of selling what we do, and we hope that would be a part of any candidate looking to engage more fully in this process.
Thank you. Thank you for that information and those insights. What does success in this role look like to you in the short term? So 12 to 18 months, the first 12 to 18 months.
Which are always the most challenging. But in this instance, in that first 12 to 18 months, I would really prioritize relationship building above and beyond everything, both internally and externally. Internally with colleagues across the institution at all levels. We really think of the organization as a puzzle. There are different levels of jobs, but if one piece of the puzzle is missing, it really impacts the organization in significant ways. So somebody who's willing to roll up their sleeves and work with everybody, regardless of their role and position, title, and also somebody who's able to build relationships with musicians as well. On the external front, I would prioritize the board and then donors and prospects in this person's portfolio. Towards the end of that run, we would hope that somebody would be advancing annual fund support and major gift conversations, and then also be making, a significant impact on the team and focusing on team strength and retention and collaboration. And then in that time, I think as one would expect, I would also really expect a new colleague to have a clear view of the Symphony's past and current fundraising work, our current portfolio structure, our management systems around that, and a lot of clarity around current goals so that they're able to really evaluate, enhance, and build upon our current work as we move the organization forward.
Terrific. Thank you. What advice would you give to someone who's considering to apply for the role?
I would just go back to the focus on this being a very multifaceted role. So for me, somebody who can show understanding and strength in the core competencies, all of them across the board, is really important. It's one thing to be an incredible and engaging frontline fundraiser, and it's another skill entirely to be a strategic and thoughtful team leader. And we are looking for both of those things. In an application, metrics and past roles and experiences would be really helpful for us to understand one's scope and experience that are related to this job's requirements. So I would certainly encourage that. I touched a little bit about one's passion for the arts and music. I think it's important to call out that this role does not require one to be a classical musician or an expert in orchestral music. While many on staff here are or are previous musicians or very involved in the field, the most important thing for me and the team in this role is that somebody has a really genuine enthusiasm for the art form and our mission, is willing to learn, and is really committed to the arts and a community. So long as one has the passion and a desire to support the organization and a real understanding of the importance of arts in a community, we really welcome that person's candidacy.
Thank you. Beyond the job description, what unique opportunities does the role offer, such as working closely with world-class artists, engaging with the Bay Area's philanthropic community, and collaborating with other cultural institutions?
So I'll start with the easy one. Our offices are in Davies Symphony Hall and directly adjacent to the concert hall. It's just really a remarkable environment to be surrounded by. Rehearsals are several times a week, and those rehearsals plus almost all concerts are accessible to staff. And just being surrounded daily by world-class artists and music and programming is just nothing short of inspiring and a really incredibly exciting and lively environment to be in throughout the week. For me, I think the opportunity to engage with the Bay Area's philanthropic community is an incredible benefit of the role. This is one of the smartest, most motivated, and deeply generous, civically minded communities that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. And that really inspires me personally daily. And I know it's a real inspiration to my team as well. And then just in terms of our location in the city, for those less familiar with the San Francisco area, Davies Symphony Hall is in the middle of San Francisco's Civic Center and also Hayes Valley neighborhoods. So in addition to lively kind of commercial and community corridors, we're also surrounded on all sides by the San Francisco Opera, ballet, jazz, multiple theaters. The San Francisco Conservatory of Music is right across the street from us, and so much more. So it's really wonderful to be surrounded by this level of creativity in the city. Just an enormous concentration of arts and others who are equally committed to the cultural ecosystem of San Francisco, not only on the professional front, but on the engagement and enjoyment front. So we're very grateful for that. And I think that's something that anybody coming into a role here would really have a great opportunity to look forward to.
Absolutely. Thank you. In your experience, what qualities distinguish high-performing development leaders in major arts organizations today?
Yeah. I'm always disheartened when people outside of the fundraising field think of fundraising as, being very pushy and begging for money from both those eager to give as well as those who are more resistant and to just maximize those results. And I see that very differently. For me, the most effective fundraisers I work with today really see philanthropy as a partnership. Donors bring one end of the partnership by, offering philanthropic resources to support causes that they care deeply about. And on the other end of this, you have fundraisers who are curious, empathic, creative, strategic leaders who are very talented at helping philanthropists and members of a community thoughtfully support organizations, which they also feel quite passionately about. So working together, and although in different roles, they remain on the same team. And I just feel like so much more can be achieved for an organization in the short and long term when everybody is coming in with the same intentions, goals, and passions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. This has been really wonderful. Just want to kind of take a look at what's going forward for the symphony and what's on the horizon for the symphony in the next coming years, few years. Is it programming? Are there challenges, opportunities? We'd love to hear more about what's in the future.
Yeah, a lot, as always, which is the beauty of a living orchestra. So the symphony, post-COVID and in the search for new music directors, and just a really major moment of transition as we move into the next chapter of our 100-plus year history. Our most recent music director, as I mentioned earlier, S.Pekka Salonen, concluded his tenure this past summer, and we are very deep in a focused process of appointing his successor. We have a committee of board members, of staff, and of musicians who have been working for months on this process. It's highly confidential out of respect to candidates, but at an incredibly exciting moment and an exciting time. And we all see just significant opportunity on the horizon. There are just so many remarkable candidates, and we feel very confidently that each would have a truly enormous impact, not only on the trajectory of the organization, but on the arts ecosystem in San Francisco. Another artistic transition for us is that over the past 5 years, the orchestra has added a remarkable 25 new musicians to our roster. Fun fact, so Davies Symphony Hall was built in 1980, and prior to that, the symphony and opera shared an orchestra, but the year that Davies Symphony Hall was built, they split. So many of the musicians who were with the organization at that time are at or approaching retirement, thus the opportunity for an influx of new musicians. And they are all just remarkably talented and continue to bring life, energy, and truly exceptional playing to the ensemble. Also just creating a depth of experience throughout, and they sound just incredible right now. I would add to this that, the city here is just continually morphing and changing. And as an organization, we feel strongly that we must follow that. So we always keep flexibility in everything we do to take all of that into account and to look forward to all that could come in the years ahead. And as hard as it is to talk about this, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge, the real financial pressures that the symphony faces. I know this is something that we are hardly alone in the industry, but for us, it's even more reason why incredibly strong, motivated, and exciting development leadership is critical to the organization's future, for its work in growing donor support, increasing our annual contributed revenue, and playing a really significant role in creating long-term financial sustainability here at the symphony for the future.
Thank you so much. Before we wrap up, are there other questions that we might want to discuss about the process or where we are right now? Louisa, did you have anything come through? Or I'm looking at our chat right now too.
I have here a question that says, how does ACG ensure that the search process surfaces candidates who not only have the technical skills, but also align with the symphony's culture and values?
Yeah, I mean,
love that. Todd, you want to take that?
Yeah, if you want to take it, go ahead.
No, please, you go first.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, it is our process to cast the net wide and far, looking for candidates that have the skill set. We do ask all candidates to have a cover letter that really, if it isn't explicit in their resume, that really talks about why the symphony and a passion for the symphony or the arts would be a next step for them. So we've been looking at people in higher education, healthcare, whatever that might be. There are certainly transferable skills, especially in the development realm. But also as a senior development officer and having all three of us done this in the past, well, Lee's still doing it. Louisa and I are not, but you have to be passionate about your organization and the work you're doing in order to be successful. It's that simple.
Yeah. And we get a lot of that in our conversations with people. I think a resume and a cover letter are critical, but they're words on paper. And I think so much of what we glean from candidates is in personal opportunities to connect individually and hear from people directly. So we really appreciate the time and care that goes into being a part of this process. We know it's a lot, but it's a really critical part of ensuring that we end up with a great candidate for the role.
Thank you. We have another question. What distinguishes the Deputy Director of Development role at the San Francisco Symphony from similar positions at other major arts organizations?
Good question, a broad question. I guess I'll just speak from experience. My background prior to coming to the symphony was in the arts, but it was in the visual arts. And I was truly surprised by how different two roles could be in organizations like this. From a general arts organization that might be visual or otherwise to performing, I think the most valuable piece of this, as I mentioned earlier, is just the livelihood of being in an organization where art is live and active and happening, nearly 7 days a week here, and being surrounded by, 100 musicians on the daily is just incredibly inspiring. And being able to not only connect with donors personally, but also to connect with musicians personally, to connect donors with musicians personally is just a really wonderful opportunity. I think it's also worth noting that we do nearly 200 programs a year. And I should note that it is not expected that a candidate goes to all of them. That would be impossible. And we certainly wouldn't want that to burn somebody out. But that is a big part of what we do. And we hope that somebody coming in would find that opportunity to be surrounded by music, musicians, rehearsals, and performances, and to be able to expose donors to that really inspiring. So I would say for me, those are the things that have stood out for the symphony for me compared to prior roles and positions.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Super. Well, thank you again, Lee, for being here today with us and talking about the symphony and this role, the deputy director role, and how its importance in moving forward in your fundraising efforts. It's been a delight to speak with you, and Louisa, thank you as well for joining us. We had a few more questions, but maybe we'll try to get to those in the chat at another time or reach out. But for those of you that want to learn more about the position, it is posted on the ACG website, which is artsconsulting.com. And you can just go to the search section and look for the symphony's position. Like we said, this is a bi-weekly opportunity that we present this Arts Insight Live. And we don't, because of the holidays, we don't have anything specifically scheduled. So stay tuned to our social media platforms or sign up for our LinkedIn to follow us. And we really appreciate your time today. And thanks again, Lee and Louisa.
Thank you.
Thank you both. And thanks everybody for joining.